Success music. Hey.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm so glad to be back after a month. I think it's been a very long time and I'm so sorry I've not uploaded a video yet, but I'm here. So as you guys can see, I'm actually priming my face with my Prep and Prime MAC products. You guys already know, and now I'm going to dry that shit down because if I don't dry it down, I will not be able to put on my foundation. You guys can see by the title that I'm actually going to do a spring makeup. But if you didn't read it and you just clicked on it, then you know that I'm doing a spring makeup. So yeah, stay tuned. So for my spring makeup, my foundation are two. I mix two foundations together. There's the NYX foundation and the Fit Me Maybelline foundation. I think I'm gonna write all the makeup that I'm gonna use in this video down below, so that if you want to get it, especially for the foundation, if you want to get my shade, you can get it. So as you guys can see, I'm using a brush for it, and I started with one pump. Yes, just one, because I don't want a full coverage but a minimal coverage. Now what I do is I first distribute the foundation by just dabbing on my face, then start spreading it all over, because I don't, with a brush I get like a minimal coverage, and with a sponge you can use a sponge, but with a sponge you can't really like swipe because it's going to move your foundation. So that's why I'm doing it this way, for a minimal coverage, because it's spring, so I don't want that much coverage. So yeah, so of course I'm gonna put another pump on my palm again, because of course one pump is not going to be enough. Now go for the other side, but just because someone will say, why didn't you do like two pumps at the same time? That's because if you do two pumps at the same time, it's gonna give you the full coverage you need, because those two foundations mixed together, both of them are minimum coverage. They're not full coverage foundation, but they're minimum full coverage. So if you add them together, it's gonna feel a little bit thick, and I don't want that thickness for spring makeup. I want my makeup to be as light as possible. That's why I'm using a brush, and I'm also not using as much pumps. I'm just going lightly, and I'm just going down my neck, making sure everything is distributed so I won't look like an Oompa Loompa. So yeah. So now I'm going for my third pump, and this is for my forehead. Now for my forehead, I'm using a sponge. You would think, why are you using a beauty blender now? Why aren't you using a brush? Because number one, I'm going to do a turban on my head, and the space between my brows and my forehead is not as big. I don't have such a big forehead, so when I use my brush, it's not going to like look nice, and it can like even destroy the brows that I've done. So because of that, I use the sponge, because I can squeeze the sponge to go. You can use a brush if you want to, but I want to be really careful when it comes to my brows, because it takes time for me to do my brows. So I use a sponge, because with that one I can actually see where I'm going to. And okay, so now let's go for the concealer. With my concealer, I'm actually, going to put it under my eyes like you guys see it. I'm going with the light one, the Maybelline one. This one is liquidy, so it's not too thick, so I can use as much as I want. But I'm not going to drag everything, because I just want to highlight my under eye, because number one, I don't only have just a tiny bit of under eye dark circles, but my foundation kind of covers it up. But I have this, as you guys can see, you see that baggy thing under my eyes? It comes a lot when I'm tired and becomes like huge. So with this highlighting of concealer, it helps me a lot to be able to cover, minimize it. It doesn't cover it, but it minimizes that baggage under there, So yeah, that's why I'm first highlighting under my eyes. And then I take my MAC 24-hour concealer. This looks exactly or almost exactly like my foundation color. This is like a bit lighter than it, but I use this to cover up the highlights. So with this one, it's kind of not too thick, not too like lightweighted. So this is what I use for my under eyes to, you know, blend the highlighting out, because personally I don't like light looking concealer because it makes you look like a ghost. Literally, if I was supposed to use only the L'Oreal one for highlighter and I didn't use this one on top of it and set it, I would be literally looking like a ghost. So for this one, I really, you know, drag it down so I can get a very, you know, small nose of it. And yeah, that's exactly what I use. And this also helps that baggage to, you know, minimize. So this is also what I use.
For the girl, rockstar. Oh yeah, yeah. And they call me Eugene. Yeah. Care for me and I care for you, baby. Oh, hold my hands and I hold you, lady. Oh, you be the one for me. Oh, and I'm for.
Now I'm going to take my setting powder or my loose powder, and that's the Moi banana setting powder. Now I'm just going to put it all under my eyes. You guys already know the drill. I don't bake under my eyes because I have dry skin, and if I do bake, it gives me, you know, this patchy feeling, and it gives me like lines under my eyes. So I don't bake, I just set, because setting is also good for me personally. If you like baking, you can bake, but I just don't bake.
Baby, I just wanna marry you.
Also, I put my lashes on offline because these are the things I can't do just yet on camera. So yeah, now I'm gonna put some, you know, as you guys can see, I didn't really do anything on my eyes because I'm gonna do it later on. I'm gonna do it like another video, like a spring eyeshadow tutorial. I also have tutorials that I'm gonna do on Snapchat or Instagram, so if you want to see that, I will link my name down below for you to check it out. And now, because I don't really have anything on my eyes, I just don't feel okay because I'm used to putting eyeshadows on my eyes. So now I'm just gonna put some inner corner colors. And as you guys saw in the beginning, I used a setting spray to spray on that brush, take some eyeshadow and put it on the inner corner of my eyes. It makes it look super pigmented, as you guys can see. So now I'm gonna take this palette that I used in the beginning to fan my face. This was my fan. I'm gonna use this one to do my blush, and as you guys can see, I'm really going in all the shades because none of them is pigmented enough to be blush for my cheeks. I mean, later on, after I edited this video, I searched for like an eyeshadow color that can actually be a blush for me, and I found it. But before that, I decided to use this one. Like you guys can see, it doesn't look pigmented at all. Like, I'm not saying I want it to be like pinkish, but I mean, come on, I don't see nothing, and I'm just going in like the palette like crazy, and I'm not seeing much. But you know, at that time, this one was okay for me because I didn't really have a choice. So this is how I did my blush. You just take your blush brush, you go in all the colors. If you don't have like an actual pigment blush, then you just put on your cheeks. You just act like you're smiling, like fake smiling, so that your cheeks will come up. Then you just put it at the side of it, and that's it. From that same palette, I'm taking that goldish highlighter on top of it, because this palette is a blush and highlighting palette. Someone will ask me, why didn't you contour? Because it's a spring makeup. Like I said already, I don't want everything to be heavy on my face. I don't want to look like the chin out makeup tutorial. No, I want to go as simple and as natural as possible. So I didn't do contour because for me, contour is too much. Contour really like gives you that chin out look, and I don't want it that way. I just want to be as simple as possible. So that's why I didn't do contour, but I did blush, because blush makes you, you know, look a little bit natural, and that makes you look cuter than you already are. See what I mean? So yeah, now I'm just gonna put that goldish highlighter on my cheeks. You can choose whatever highlighter you want to use, but for me, golds and browns really like come on my face really nicely than any other, like how should I say it, any other highlighter you could find. So yeah, that's exactly what I was doing. And now for my lips. Normally I really wanted to do a lipstick, but because I wanted to, go lightweighted with the whole tutorial, I decided to use some lip gloss. This lip gloss, you can actually get it from Primark. Kruidvat for 99 cents. Seriously, 99 cents. So really go get it because it makes your lips feel soft AF. So yeah, go get it. Okay guys, so to finish everything, I'm gonna take my setting spray. It doesn't smell the best, but it does locks in your makeup in and it stays on for a very long time. So I request this type of setting spray. Okay guys, so I'm done with my makeup tutorial. It was really easy, simple. I mean, for me, I really enjoyed this video. If you did like it, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you share this type of video because there are lots of people that don't really know what and how to apply their makeup when it comes to some type of seasons. So I would really request you send it to somebody who doesn't know much about makeup, who is a makeup lover, who loves to do makeup, who doesn't even love to do makeup as much, so that they will all be educated. And as always, see you in the next one. Bye.